exclusive interview with the greatest in the literary world, that is Zakes Mda. So today we're gonna dwell into his work and then find out hore atla fihla mo a leng teng una sebetsa jwang. Ntate Mda, ke a o dumedisa.
Hey, dumela Shwane.
Hamonate, ke thabetse ho bona haholo. Jwalo ka mongodi a ntse a tla totoba, kore e ka re toro re ke dutse le wena ka tsatsi lena. Jwale we are so grateful to have you here as the channel, as the Free State, as writers in the Free State. We are honored that you once again came and blessed us with your knowledge.
No, thank you very much for inviting me.
And that.
Yeah.
Briefly, o ka re jwetsa hore na hoba re a tseba hore ntate is a renowned author, an award-winning author, a playwright. Like you do everything in literature, literally. So o ka re jwetsa hore na ntate Zakes Mda hantlentle yena ke mang?
No, a ke re le wena wa tshore ke Zakes Mda. Ya ngolang dibuka. Ya ke mapentane hape ya izwa ditshwantsho ke seqapi sa mmino jwalo ka o la bolela hore I do all those, I dabble in all those arts.
Yes.
You know, because you see, to me art is art.
Yes.
I wake up one day, I feel like painting a picture, I paint a picture. The next day I feel like writing a poem, I write a poem. Or a novel, or compose a song. So that's just my life.
I am so grateful that you are here to share with us. So I have so many questions for you that would answer me as a writer.
Okay.
And that would teach me, I guess, and all the writers in the Free State about the magic of words. Ka ho ntate ke ske ka senya nako ba jwale se le monate ono hore ke dutse pela hao jwale
oh my goodness
mafolofolo a ntlalla lo Oba utlile mona Free State for Papama Book Festival.
Yes.
O ka re jwetsa in detail hore na what is it about?
Papama Book Festival started last year on Bloemfontein mona. And it's organized by Free State people, a production house called St. Francis Production. Yeah, Free State mona. So even last year I was here participating in that book fair. It's just a festival really of celebrating books. You know, like this morning I was addressing lots of people at CUT there who had gathered to listen to my keynote address to open the festival.
Yes.
And there are, many of them are artists, others are aspiring writers, others are just people who enjoy books, you know, readers. Because as writers, obviously, we depend on readers.
Yes.
We would not exist without readers.
That is very true.
Yes.
On that note, Ndate, would you say when this started, is there any progress? Do you see more writers? Do you see more people becoming enthusiasts of the literary world within the Free State?
Hagi last year. Oh, definitely. Kifumana, this book fair is growing. It's growing, it's becoming, you know, not only the numbers of people, but also it has become much more sophisticated. So, because, I mean, the more we do something, the more we improve in it and become better. Like you as a writer, you know, Hore, that's how you improve.
Yes.
You can't improve as a writer if you don't write.
Yes, that's true.
And the more you write, the better you become. Le festival yena ilwalo he. Yeah.
Ntate sa chulo a re ha hona kgomo ya boroko, ha hona hore ka ema wa bua o sa dula fatshe wa ngola.
Exactly.
Ntate Zakes Mda. Ke batla ho tseba fela hanyane, would you say ho ba le title ya buka is important in terms of the success of the book, or any title, it doesn't matter as long as the contents of the book are exciting?
Well, title le ho tshwana fela le lebitso la hao akere. Wena o Maleshwane, ba o ratang ba re ke Oshwane. Mohlomong in my imagination, I'm thinking, oh, that name, I associate it with this or that or that. Maleshwane, you know, she must be a very wonderful person. Mohlomong, you are not even that wonderful. Wena ka bo wena as a person.
Ke nnete.
But well, I hope you are.
I am wonderful.
Yes,
I
yeah.
am wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. You know
Yes,
I'm wonderful.
exactly.
And that.
Jwale, many people look at the title, and if it's attractive, then they open the pages and see. You know, so it's very important that your title should be attractive, but it should speak to what the book itself is about. E seng hore e tlameha ho hlalosa ona buka ena e reng. But it must give me a hint. Yeah, oh, this book must be about this or that or that.
Yeah. E utlwahala ho thwe bitso lebe ke seromo. Ha o fana ka lebitso tlamehile o tsebe hore tse ka hara lebitso leno di tsamaelana le lebitso la teng.
Exactly.
Ntate, I'm very, very curious, since you write about post-colonial issues. Ke rata ho tseba hore na how did this impact you and your family writing in those eras? Because ha ke hopola hantle e ka dingolo tsa hao di tsebahetse haholo ka mora 1982 fela e sa le ntse o ngola ho ngola ka di matters tsa mehleng eno ra tseba hore na re fitile kae as Africans, the whole world knows. Jale, how did it affect you and your family? And was it was it a threat to the system back then when you published or you had a certain written work?
Okay. Even though you say ki qadile ho tuma after 82, no. I've been writing ka di 1960s ikwana. Actually, maybe even 50s, well, 60s.
Yes.
You see. And utla hopola hore mehleng eno, those were the days of apartheid.
Yes.
Re phela tlasa kgatello ya maburu mehleng eno. Me ha o no ngotse buka e itseng, me maburu a tshwile hore motho ena o bua dipolitiki mona. Sometimes they would just look at the title and then they ban the book. Ki hopola hore ho no le teng buka e nngwe ene bitswa Black Beauty. A sa hopola na e neng ngotswe ke mang. Just because it was Black Beauty, the book was banned. Whereas the book was about a horse. Ine ipuela ka pere fela ene bitswa Black Beauty. You see?
Yeah, and that.
Motho eno a rorisa pere ya hae and all that and so on. But the book was banned. Now, I suffered a lot of banning of the books, mehleng ya apartheid. Hobane, I was the first playwright to have a collection of plays called We Shall Sing for the Fatherland.
Yes.
That was banned by the government. Which meant that you would be arrested if you found, not even just reading, but having the book, because possession itself
Yes.
was a criminal act when that book was banned. And therefore, you would go to prison. Even I would go to prison if they found that book of mine, because it's illegal and possession is illegal, possession of that book. You see? So many writers went through that. You know, their books getting banned, but what's warwa. You had to hide certain books, you know, if you had them, hobane, you don't know when the police will come and search your house and find. Buka ine ilisira. Mihleng eno ho bona. You see? Yeah.
Ya utlwahala ebile ya utlwahala hore ka nnete mantswe ehlile ke sebetsa se leng hore sene se tshosa system kaofela hore if kelello tsa batho at that time would grasp whatever it is that you wrote, then there would be a certain war or there would be a certain retaliation from the people.
Yes. And it was true, in fact, that many people were being mobilized, you know, through poetry, for instance. Because not love now, the Totogiso Tsena, you know, people recite poetry all over, in the streets, in the trains, at funerals. And these were very militant political plays that not only attempted to share insights among the oppressed people, but also to rally them in order that they fight against apartheid. So that's why then, you know, the book was regarded as a terrible weapon if you were found with it. You know, they sent you to jail. Yeah.
Sure. Because you have paved a way for us writers these days to understand that having a voice is very powerful. And writing is very powerful. Thoughts may often deceive us, but words forever serve us peace. So we always have to write. And everything starts with writing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Zakes Mda, fiction and non-fiction. Which one would you say best paints the abilities of a writer artistically?
Fiction, non-fiction, I cannot have a hierarchy. This is better than that. You see, fiction is effective just as much as non-fiction. In many instances, non-fiction tells you what happened, especially if it's not the kind which is known as creative non-fiction.
Yes.
If you just talk of non-fiction, you know, such as magazine articles and things like that, they tell you what happened. Fiction is even more effective because it does not only tell you what happened, it also tells you how it felt to be in what happened.
Okay.
You see, that's where the big distinction lies.
Yes.
Fiction goes into the interiorities of people, their feelings, their thoughts, and so on.
Yes.
That is why if you go to some of these universities, you'll find that in a history class where they are taught about events that actually happened, historical events, the professor will also prescribe a fiction book set during that period. Why? Because the history book tells them what happened, but the fiction book tells them what those people during those days felt about those events.
So they are equally important.
Yes. Yeah. But I could.
I need to know your thought process, your creative thought process. What do you do? How tlelwa? Hoba nna ha ke tlelwa ke jwale ka hobane hona le technology these days. Ha ke tlelwa ke monahano wa hore e ka re nka ngola a poem about a fan or something. I just take my phone and then I create my notes. That is how maybe I keep my thought process going. Wena hore o qale ho ngola kapa hona ho taka, say you want to paint something.
Well, I'll tell you that notes are very important. Ehlile wetsa hantle ha o re you write notes. I advise all writers to have a notebook. Hore, because thoughts just come anytime
Yes.
without having planned.
Yes.
Then if you put it down, and if you don't put it down at that time,
Yeah.
after a few hours, you'll forget it. There are so many wonderful things that you may find that you have forgotten because
Yes.
you didn't write them.
Yes. So you must always have that
So
notebook.
that's
somewhere.
what I encouraged. Impa heputso ya hao kore, for me, how it works.
Yes.
Wawona he, because I'm engaged in a variety of different arts. An idea will strike me.
Yes.
It can be maybe when I'm just walking around, minding my own business, doing something else.
Yes.
Then I see something which then suggests another idea in my head. Then, like you, I write it down. Or in my phone, actually.
Yes.
Phone or
Yes. Technology
you see?
is helping.
I put it down there. Now, how do I know Ubane Yuale? You might get an idea. And remember, I'm doing all the different arts.
Yes. Yes.
The idea of the story that I get, the story itself, tells me how it wants to be told.
Yes.
You see? Sometimes the story will tell me, okay, you should tell me as a poem. Or it will say, no, I can't work as a poem. I should be a play. In other words, this idea that I got, I can only function if you make me a play.
Yes.
If you try to write me as a novel, no, it won't work. Or it can say, I'm a painting. Or I'm a song. Don't try to make me anything else besides that. You see, so the story itself tells you how it wants to be told.
Written. Oh.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I never thought of it that way.
Yes.
Fela he, re santsane re ithuta. Ntate Mda, your work is a blend of history, culture, and methodology. Can you, briefly discuss with us your inspiration and, for me as a young author, please share your research methods.
My research methods?
Methods, yes.
No, my research is never formal. In other words, I don't take a questionnaire as you would do as a researcher and then go out there to ask people questions and then you are writing down their answers.
Yes.
My research happens even as we are sitting here drinking tea, although I don't see you drinking any of that tea.
I'm going to drink it. I feel like it's matshwafo.
You see?
Ke utlwa ditaba tsena.
Nantse ke wa theola.
Ke tlo a
Ka
theola
tea
tsena.
yena, you see?
Ntate.
So we can be sitting here drinking tea or whatever. Then I'm asking you questions then that I want to know. Or maybe you have, knowledge about this or that or that. And I usually research as I write. In other words, the writing unfolds, then I come to a part, I need to know something about it. Then I go and find out about it and research it, ask people or read about it or go to the internet and so on. Then I get the answer, then I continue to write. In other words, I don't have segments. Okay, jwale ke qala ka research.
Yes.
Ke research in my pile of papers and things. Jwale ke qetile research, let me write.
Hey, Ntate.
All of those things happen at the same time. I write, I find that there's a gap in my knowledge here. Let me go and find out about it. And then I come with the answers, then I continue to write, and so on until I get to the end.
Ke lebohela tsebo ya hao haholo.
And hangata, my research happens, when I'm sitting with groups, for example, groups of women,
Yes.
we are talking about this or that, And then, you see, I am researching already. You
Hore
see.
na batho ba basadi ke batho ba jwang mohlomong.
No, I already know.
Yeah.
Remember, I've lived for 76
Yes.
years, living with women.
Okay.
So when I do that, I'm not trying to find out what wasadi ke batho
Ke
ba
batho ba
jwang.
jwang.
I'm trying to find out ka topic a itseng, the specific topic.
Eh, ntate.
You see, eo re buang ka yona.
Eh.
Yeah.
All right, Ntate Mda, ba batla ho nkela nako. Ke kopa fela ha re kwala. O ntjwetse hore na hara di novels tsa hao kaofela, which one is closest to heart? Ha o qeta o nkaraba potso eo, your award-winning novel, Ways of Dying, ho tlile jwang o fihle title-eng eo?
Well, starting first with which one is closest to my heart. Ho tshwana fela la ka mpotsa hore hara bana ba hao ba hlano. O rata o fe? Eh? No, ke ba rata kaofela ka o tshwana. Hobane ke ba ka akere.
Eh, ntate.
Ba bang ba batle, ba bang ba babe.
Eh.
Because sometimes your kids
Ba jwalo ka nnete.
can
Ye
be
mong wa
very
bana ba
ugly.
babe banana,
Yeah.
ba mme
Empa
wa
o ba rata ba le jwalo.
Eh.
Hobane ke bana ba hao.
All right.
So even with me then, I mean, I wrote all those books. You know, I wrote many books, or maybe 30 or so. You see. So it's difficult to say, hangata utafona, the latest one is the one that's closest to my heart at that time.
Yes.
Empa how fita yengwe, it will be closest to my heart, Leo, because it's the baby of the family. So my latest novel, ke ibizwa Wayfarer's Hymns. Ibua ka mmino ona o bitswang Famo, mmino wa Korostina. You see? So that's my favorite at this point. Ways of Dying, title here is Wagai. It comes from the story itself. Because it's set during those days, when there was a lot of death in this country, which was known as black on black violence. During that period of transition, you know, the transition from the apartheid period to this new South Africa, new order, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of death that happened. So the story then happens during that time, and it's looking at the different ways people were dying. You know, and some of those deaths came about because of the different ways of living.
Yes.
So Ways of Dying is really about ways of living as well. You see? Yeah.
Ya utlwahala ntate wa ka. Ekare nako ya rona re felletse ne ka re nka qoqa le wena ekare re ka dula la di camera di se di tingwe fela ke a leboha because ntate Mda ke lona le re rutileng hore ka nako e nngwe ha wa tlameha o be se bueng fela be sa le pepere be o buile ka nako e nngwe ko ngole hore le meloko e tlang e be ntse e tseba dithuto tsa boholoholo. So thank you very much for all your work, and I believe you have brought a lot of change.
Yes.
You brought a lot of change.
Yes.
Until re bala mesebetsi ya lona.
Oh, le nna nka ngola. Exactly.
Re tsebile ka lona hore ehlile ho ngola ke ntho e nngwe e kgolo maphelong a rona.
Okay.
Haholo e se ka nka o bona hape ka nako e nngwe se re kopantsha jwale ke dibuka tsa hao re hlile re ke re qoqe ka tsona haholo.
Okay.
Ke lebohile haholo.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you everyone at home. Le ikutlwetse ntate Mda o re file ka letsoho tjhe nna ke tlo sala ntse ke utlwa tse ding tse ngata. Fela, please stay tuned on the network channel of FS Online and always be informed with what happens in the Free State. Adios.
Thank you.
Ke lebohile haholo ntate.
All right.
Oh, nka ka nwa tjhe jwale.
No, nna ke qetile because I was drinking it during the interview.
Ntate.
How would I know
O tsamaile ka script sa ka